Hello, good evening, and welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph, and I am the host of this show. So, we're doing a look back at a classic rock album this Monday night. So, that's what we do every Monday night. And we're going to be talking about this album right here. It's not really that clear. It's a panther in front of what looks like a bit of a gong type thing. Anyways, you can see the panther's face right over here. Basically, they decided not to go with the Roger Dean for this album. I guess they kind of wanted to do something a little bit different. So they did away with him on this particular album. So I'm going to talk about the album now. So this album was released August of 1974, recorded at Morgan Studios in number 3 in London, England. It's about 38, almost 39 minutes in length. It was on the Warner Brothers, Mercury, and Vertigo labels in various locations. Produced by Greenslade and Jeremy Ensher. So, and it's this one here. So it's Greenslade's Spyglass Guest is the title of this album. I think it's the only one that actually charted. I could be wrong, but of the ones of the original 4, I think it's the only one that actually made it to the charts. So the cover was done by Marcus Keith. Basically, it's a photo with a panther in front of a sort of a metal gong-like thing. So very different from the other covers, which of course were all done by Roger Dean. So this features Dave Lawson on keyboards and vocals. He doesn't play keyboards or vocals on on Spirit of the Dance, which is the opening track. Then you have David Greenslade. He plays keyboards, but not on Little Red Fry Up, Rainbow, or Red Light. You got Tony Reeves playing bass here. This is his final album with the band. And Andrew McCulloch on drums and percussion. So pretty much the same group as on the previous 2 albums that I've done. So hopefully you'll enjoy this one as much as that one's. Okay, so in addition to those musicians, the band members, we also have Clem Clemson, who plays guitar on electric guitar, on Little Red Fry Up and Siam Seesaw, I don't know why these videos always make my throat dry. Next is Andy Roberts. He plays acoustic guitar on Siam Seesaw. And then you have Graham Smith playing the violin on Joie de Vivre. I think that's how you pronounce it. Joie de Vivre. Anyways, total of 8 tracks on the album. I think this is a pretty strong album. Their albums, for me, have gotten just a tiny bit better on each of the 3 albums. I like the first one quite a bit. The second one I liked a little more, and this one I like a little bit more than that. This one has some electric guitar on it and some acoustic guitar on it, something that isn't on the first 2 albums. So that is an addition that I like anyways. Okay, the opening track. So overall, this album, very keyboard dominated, of course. Lots of mellotron, lots of keyboards, some synthesizers, but it's not dominated by that or at all. Some piano, a little bit of piano. Of course, there's some violin, electric guitar, and acoustic guitar, as well as prominent rhythm section with the bass and the drums being very forward in the mix. So overall, I think it's a pretty strong album. And I'm going to break down the songs a little bit. So you have the Spirit of the Dance, which is the opening track. No vocals on this. Fully instrumental track here. Keyboards dominate. Opening with a familiar kind of sound that they like to use. It's a row or a roo or whatever you want to call it. It's a familiar roo. Once you hear it, you'll know exactly what I mean. Very forward. It's very forward and prominent in the track. The bass is also very forward and prominent in this track. Catchy mellotron riff, very catchy riff throughout the song, and the solo is pretty intricate and strong on this particular track. It also has a nice kind of feel to the song, very catchy. So that's a nice opening for them. Next one is called The Little Red Fry-Up. This is probably my favorite track on the album. Quite good. And some nice mellotron in the opening, really catchy. His voice is very deep at points, and there's a second voice in the background, so maybe not quite as deep sounding. The vocals are typical of Lawson, high pitched but not too clear, not as easy to understand them unless you've heard and know the lyrics, then you can pick it out. The bass and rhythm sections are prominent on this song, really catchy as well. It's overall, I find this a very catchy track. Electric guitar, frontal, strong, distorted, but exceptionally good. Really well done solo here by Clem Clemson. The next track up is called Rainbow. Another track that does not have David Greenslade on it, but it's a pretty decent track, a little bit different than the first two. Opens with a piano and a distorted synthesizer and keyboard part. You've got some softer, more mellow keyboard parts as the song goes along. The vocals are mellow, but for the backing vocals, and Lawson is at his normal high-pitched and nasally lead vocal part. And yeah, melodic, mellow track, I think. Probably the most mellow track on the album. The next track up is called Siamese Seesaw. This is one of the other tracks that I believe David Greenslade is not on. Yeah, no, sorry, I was wrong about that. He is on this. It's the red light one that he is also not on. Okay, so Siamese Seesaw. No vocals on this track. It's instrumental. Low, slow, melodic, keyboard-driven track with some guitar, acoustic, and at the beginning there's acoustic on it. You have some nice keyboard forward-picking sounds throughout the track. The rhythm section gives this kind of a heavy backbone to the track, so everything else is part of low key, and the rhythm section is a little higher, giving it a little bit of a strength to the album, to the song. Heavy bass part predominant on this track as well, and then you have this kind of distorted guitar solo towards the back end of the track. It's quite a good track as well. The next song is called Joie de Vivre. I think that's how you pronounce it. If I'm wrong, somebody will correct me, no doubt. The voice opening with a kind of a church organ part. So you got this kind of talking and a church organ part in the background. Well, it's actually kind of more forward than in the background. It's a key-driven part, melodic, prominent. The video comes in and is frontal. The violin. The violin comes in very frontal, very forward, easy to pick out. Heavy rhythm section throughout the track. The keyboard part can be quite quiet and psychedelic in its feel at times. Vocals are kind of a mid-high range, nasally, typical of David Lawson. Multi-instrumental parts throughout the track, and then you have lots of keyboard and piano and keys and organ and lots of stuff going on throughout this track. So pretty decent track, probably one of my two favorites on here. Next is Red Light. This is the other song that David Greenslade does not play on. It's got this low-end keyboard opening. The vocals, it's kind of it sounds like Dawson multi-vocaled. So he's doing two separate vocals beside each other, try to give himself a little bit more kind of a harmony sound, I guess. That's what it sounds like anyways. At times his lead vocals are a little bit on the marshmallowy side. They're kind of softer, not as prominent, but still decent track. And then you have I would say it's a deep bass part towards the back part. The bass comes forward and is kind of very deep in sound. Of course, most basses are. This one's a little bit more down than I would have expected. Then you have the Melancholic Race. That's the second last track. Opens with a nice keyboard part, very low end. There's a kind of a montage almost of instrumental parts going on throughout this track. The bass dominates, of course. Overall, this is a very strong kind of instrumental track. Heavy pick rhythm section, out of control keyboard solo towards the back part of the song. Really strong, I think, overall. Okay, the last track on this album is a little different than the rest of the album because it's not written by them. This music is written by actually Jack Bruce, the famous Jack Bruce, and the lyrics by Pete Brown. So this is called The Theme for an Imaginary Western. Slow melodic track, very slow melodic track. Vocals nasally but prominent and forward. Some piano mixed in here, but a pretty heavy rhythm section, which you might expect from someone like Jack Bruce doing being the driving force of the track. Decent track, anyways. Of the tracks on the album, I would say they don't. That was probably, I thought it was probably my least favorite track on the album, but still good. There's nothing on here that's bad. This is a strong album, lots of goodness to it, lots of things that are worth listening to. I think if I was going to rank the first three albums, and I've done videos on each of them, I would say I like this one just a bit better, and I think it's primarily because of the guitar parts that are added in, giving it a bit of more of a beefy sound to the album than you might get in some of the earlier stuff. But both the first two albums are really quite good either. There's not a lot separating the three. So that's my take on Spyglass Guest, the third studio album from Greenslade, featuring David Greenslade as the leader of the band. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about Greenslade or about the album Spyglass Guest or anything related to it, you can do that as well. And we will see you all next week for another look back at another classic rock album. So have yourself a good evening and goodbye here from the Prog Monster.